Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here with the video with Aaron.
Another book review.
Yes, we're doing 3 book reviews. First of all, just to share on with the first two. This is the first edition from 1984, right here, of this one. This is the second edition. Now, the second edition's been modified a bit and added 50 pages or so in it. Let me explain. The topics in it is understanding fly tackle, assembling fly tackle, how to fly catch, fly fishing tactics, the biology of fish, natural foods, fish made for fly fishing, tying flies, fly fishing safety, fly fishing apparel, present and the years ahead, ethnic manners, etc. This one is smaller. It's only 108. Same guy, but it's the second. This is the first edition. The first edition.
The second edition's more expensive, by the way.
Yes, this one here is how to cast a fly cast, fly fishing tactics, natural foods. Understanding fly tackle, how to fly cast, fly fishing tactics, natural foods for fish, fly fishing apparel, fly fishing made easy, flying ties, fly fishing safety, the years ahead, fly assortment, book and periodicals of fly fishermen, and major fly fishing organizations, and the glossary.
This actually shows something quite interesting, as between the first and second edition there is many changes. So not always is it better to get whatever edition's cheapest. Sometimes it's better to get the second edition, sometimes better the first. And then we also got this book.
One. Let me put it to you this way. This book has got 3 books in one. First of all, the topics are, would you grab me this, hold that up for a second. Alright, first section is this book, this entire book right here. The second part is all about, if you look for the book separate, the separate single version like this, it'll be called fly casting. The third one is called fly tying. All of that is condensed in here.
And of course, you skip the fly tying part because it's not something that interests you.
No, not yet. When you get to a better...
That's more my line of thing, and I haven't read it yet because I'm not ready to start fly tying, and I'm not going to try to learn it until I actually have the materials to sit down and say, okay.
Exactly, and the tools. So,
we'll move on. So, this book, the first and second edition, your thoughts?
Well, this one has 80 more
so
paid.
You recommend the second edition
over the first, yeah.
Now, how's this compare to the first book in this one? Is it the second edition version in here or the first edition?
Second edition's in this one.
So that has the second edition in it. So, frankly, you're best to just go with this one because this has it all in one, including the second edition, which has more material.
Exactly. And this has also, if you want to look for a book, and I can find it probably for you, it's called the L.L. Bean Fly Casting Book. Fly Casting Book. Now, the third book is Fly Tying, the L.L. Bean Fly Tying. Now, if you don't want to you get one giant volume right here. It looks nice. The second edition...
And also, if you saw our thing on the Lefty Craze, this is about the same height and stuff, so it'd look good on your shelf next to those, by the way. So this actually is a much sharper book on the shelf, especially if you're trying to keep everything in line, because if you notice, they're much shorter, and this is roughly the same size as the second edition. So, yeah, there is that when you talk about the aesthetics, too. This book is a very sharp-looking book. It does have color photos in it. Do those have color photos?
This one has black and white.
That has black and white hand drawings, the first edition.
And the second one has
black and white with some color. This actually has full photographs too. So this is nicer. Oh, that has photographs too. But actually, in many ways, this is a sharper, nicer looking book. You should probably go with this. Now, here's one thing that I heard is a common complaint about the L.L. Bean series, is that it does a good job briefly describing everything without going into detail or teaching anything to anybody that's like an expert.
Let me put it to you this way. I've done some research. A lot of people go to fly fishing schools. For example, hold on. Now, they had to choose Orvis or LL Bean. They all chose Orvis because Orvis is better than LL Bean.
Well, Orvis also has a lot more in the way of guides and stuff, too. But what I want to say about the LL Bean, though, is that, yes, it's a very good beginner's book, and it does very well touch on the subjects of just about everything with fly fishing. Now, an expert probably won't find much to learn from in books anyways, except for some neat stories or maybe some ideas that they hadn't thought of, you know, how to cast or where to cast, you know, specialty casts, etc. You're not going to find that in here. This is not for an advanced fly fisher. Heck, most fly fishing books are not for advanced fly fishers. Lefty Kreh wrote advanced for advanced people, but wrote about beginner stuff, which kind of falls short of helping the beginner and falls very short of helping someone who's already advanced or an expert. This, at least, will help a beginner. So this is a great book to start somebody on who wants to learn how to fly fish, and to give them some ideas. Yes, it does briefly touch on subjects without going into a heck of a lot of detail, but that's also going to keep from overloading the mind too. So, and the color photos actually help with details and diagrams, etc. It's not something that you get in some of the other books. So, in my opinion, this is definitely worth getting for your bookshelf if you need fly fishing books or fishing books in general. It's a sharp-looking book. It's I'd give it a 10 on that. For what a beginner can learn on it, I'd give it a 10. For what a person advanced can learn on it, probably a 7 or 8, only because there's not a lot that an advanced person can learn from books. And for the aesthetic appeal, it's got a 10. So overall, I give this about a 9.5. Definitely worth your money. If you can get it, go ahead and get it.
My opinion is this book goes side by side with the Orvis Ultimate Guide. However, my opinion is this: if you're going to go to a park or something and you want something and you're looking over subjects, you might want something
it's
this
not going
size.
to fit in your pocket. Heck, this isn't even going to fit in your pocket.
I was just going to say, you might want to get a guide that's small like this, even though it's
Orvis has a guide roughly about this size, maybe closer to this size, that you can actually put in your pocket. And so,
anyways, what I was trying to say is casting. First thing you need to do is, if you're going to a park or something to cast, and you have the casting ability, you want to have a book that you can take with you. And
you really want a pocket guide.
For
and
casting.
These aren't pocket guides. These are more for your shelf. And I'll say another thing. One thing that really kind of threw me off with the LL Bean is, if I asked you right now, what is LL Bean? It's mostly a clothing company that sells some trinkets and odds and ends, but they're mostly known for their clothes, like London Fogs, etc., shoes, etc. Not for fishing. They do have some fishing supplies, but they actually write a very good book. And LL Bean doesn't write many books. So, do put it aside. I mean, to me, it would be like a car company releasing a book on marble collecting. I'm sorry, I just picked two topics randomly. But how much could a car company know about marble collecting? Well, how much is a clothier going to know about fishing? Well, they still do an excellent job because the people they hired to do it actually knew what they were doing, which would be Dave Whitlock. He actually did a very good job with it.
Dave Whitlock had his hand in this one, but also...
And I would probably wager that he is not an LL Bean employee. He was probably outsourced by LL Bean to write a book for him. And so, just ignore the LL Bean title and just look at it as Dave Whitlock's Fly Fishing Handbook. It's probably a better choice. It is well worth the money. Don't worry about the negative Amazon reviews saying, Well, it teaches a little of everything without teaching enough of anything. It does a great job. So you can put your...
It does a great job, and it's one of the things...
You can put your fears to rest.
Yes, and I highly recommend the book because if they have a fly fishing school and they have this, then, you know, it's pretty good. However, I don't know anything about the LL Bean fly rod, so I can't say anything. I've heard rumors they're made in Korea, so that's all I know.
Well, more than likely, they're outsourced by people who actually know what they're doing, and they get the LLB name on it. Heck, what is it? There's the Eddie Bauer edition cars. Isn't Eddie Bauer another one of those clothing companies?
Yes.
And so what's the clothing company going to know about pickup trucks or SUVs or whatever? But they loan their name to it, and they're popular. So that's really all we got to say on this subject.
Yeah, exactly. The books are really good. All of the LL Bean ones are good. Now, I don't know anything about fly tying, so I didn't go through the fly tying parts, but I did read them, and I got this one because it was only 1 cent and it was new, whereas this one was like $9. And this one's like 16 new, so you could say...
And it's kind of nice having the original first edition because, well, it's just got that 70s feel to it. It looks more like a magazine from the 70s than it does a book. This actually looks like a fairly sharp book. And this definitely looks like a nice book if you had it sitting on your coffee table.
What is funny about this book is, and for all of you out there, this does not come in hardbound. It's all paperback.
Yes, these aren't fishing books like you would expect for like a coffee table reader that's hardbound. Those things usually are expensive too. Those coffee table readers are usually like $50-$60 and mostly pictures in them anyways. So you're not going to get one on how to fly fish. You might get one on fish caught with fly fishing, you know, or fish trout book, you know. So, anyways,
there you have it.
This is a shorter video because we don't have much to say on it other than the fact that it is well worth the time and the money. And go ahead and
please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box. Please add suggestions, and please add us if you wish. Thank you. And may God bless the world.